The Met Gala happen where the rich will show you what all the wealth brings you. Swiss Beats may not walk again because of health issues. Alicia Keys invites Ralph Yarl to the Kansas show. Cardi B goes for Tasha K and she demands some dough. Super Mario just hit $1 billion with selling tickets, while a Dutch man is banned from donating to any clinic. Donating so much semen they had to shut the lid. He fathered 550 something kids. Texas shooter still on the loose and is at large, dog. Good thing Texas law requires all schools to have an armed guard, but a large mob got together, turned unstoppable to beat the vice principal and put her in the hospital. DeSantis getting Disney sued by the board, while Zoe Zephyr suing for being removed from the floor. Hunter Biden's in court, his baby mother's in town, and Shaq Barrett lost his baby and discovered she drowned. Wishing she rests well, and he gets to feel his inner peace. I know it's feeling like the tornado that hit Virginia Beach. Will the retirement riot in France clear up soon? Cause our military's been tracking another weird balloon. JP Morgan bought First Republic Bank and ranked up, while Vice Media does the opposite, going bankrupt. The US may be running out of cash. The pioneer of AI quits the Google function that he has. He can see the future dangers and the craziness that's possible. Probably trying to stray away from blame or be responsible. The Biden admin is now directing an order to have 1,500 troops sent to the Mexican border, while 20,000 Russians claim to be dead in the dirt, while a 7th grader sent home for what it said in his shirt. There's 2 genders, so he's speaking out and talking about that. Deontay Wilder just arrested, getting caught with a strap. Ed Sheeran still in court, just waiting, he gotta sit through it. If he's found guilty, he will quit music. Kendall and Bad Bunny seen together as all the pictures say. Tiana Taylor hit the Met Gala and brought some Chick-fil-A. Not sure if late night talk shows even tried to fight, but they shut down right away due to the writer's strike. A woman's claiming Steven Tyler's sexually abusive and tries to use his memoir as the evidence to prove it. The Texas shooter caught and he'd been taken with the feds. Now an Atlanta shooter went and started spraying, then he fled. He's been caught. 1 person died, but many people bled. His mother's working with the cops and blames it on the meds. We ain't the only country with the wackiest murderers. A mass shooting killing 8 kids happened in Serbia. After a drone attack, some allegations were sent. The Russians trying to call it an assassination attempt. Jamie Foxx still in the hospital, what's happening there? It's been heard that they've been asking for prayers. An RSV vaccine was approved for folks who would want to get it. The Surgeon General warns of a loneliness epidemic. Jackson Mahomes' brother of Patrick spreading his savagery. He was arrested for aggravated sexual battery. A sex offender kills his own kids and then his own wife. Killed the kid's friend staying over, then took his own life. Track star Tori Bowie died in her home. She was 32 at the moment, how she died is unknown. A homeless man went loco and he goes and plans to step to another passenger who choked the homeless man to death. And Trump calls his accuser ridiculous and should stop for sure, cause she testified that he raped her in a department store. 4 Proud Boys convicted for January 6. Ed Sheeran won his case, so the man won't dare to quit. Ukraine denies what all the Putinist cats are saying. The US is calling cap on the Putin assassination. 4 men escaped jail, 3 was easily stopped last month, but the last one was recently caught. A quiet time, woman who local police was trying to find, caught for killing 14 of her friends with cyanide, so she could take all their money because she owes debt. While police in New York clash with the folks who protest about the homeless dude who was choked into a slow death. Some say he's a victim, some say he's a bold threat. Even AOC and Adams are clashing through it, while a chemical explosion just happened in Massachusetts. And a cat at UC Davis was nabbed cause he stabbed some students, as Ye and Yiannopoulos practicing as a unit for Kanye's candidacy, trying to reignite the torches. Kevin Costner's wife's applying with a surprise divorce. A Russian snatched the flag, after that sees punches from a cat from Ukraine at the Black Sea Summit. Russia's mercenary group is starting to fall in shambles. They struggling mainly cause the whole party was starved for ammo. The Wagner leader said on the 10th they rolling with certainty. The WHO declares the end of the whole COVID emergency. Adams trashed for his Jordan Neely response, and Epstein Island was recently bought. 50 Cent Shaq embarrassed, looking at BET to buy, while Odellskies, the director of the CDC, resigns. A man opened up a store to buy things like dope and cocaine, was then arrested hours after business doors were open. Spin real is forced to stop the site's operations and pay up 50 mil for copyright violations. Jamie Foxx been in the hospital since news of his incident broke, and he finally broke his silence with an Instagram post. And McDonald's in Kentucky's now in deep fire. They had 10-year-olds at the cash registers and the deep fryers. Loneliness is like a sickness in a way. It's as dangerous as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. King Charles III to have the crown assigned to his head, and Joe Biden sent his wife in instead. A young teen broke a big record, and now it's popping his collar when he got 10 million in scholarship offers. He just announced that he plans to go to Cornell's. Time for good night to Tuesday morning, cause the store fell. Dollar Tree's rival, but they crumble for good. 500 pounds of pasta was dumped in the woods. Florida's SB 265 bill was signed as planned, which bans any Chinese citizen from buying land. An Oakland A's announcer was talking, but then he brought surprise, cause he said the N-word on air, but he apologized. Mass shooting in Texas kills 9, and on the same day, a mass driving happened to happen, all in the same state. A driver killed 7 when they drove into a crowd. The Wagner group in Russia isn't going nowhere now, cause they got the ammo rolling in the load of rounds. Ukraine better hold the line, they know it's going down. 55 billion student loan relief is a go, while Biden's new approval rating reached the steepest of lows. And California panel is in preparation to give about $1 million for every black resident for their reparations. Usher and Chris Brown had a scuffle or a brawl while Genuine left the stage, but he tumbles and he falls. A man wants to kill his brother, so we started driving outbound. Driving out to Utah from Cali, he's at the house now. Argued between the door but started shooting out rounds. Then tried some road flares to burn his brother's house down. Had a shootout with the cops till his body hit the floor, and everything has been recorded on the brother's door cam. Yesterday I forgot to say happy birthday to me, but more importantly today, happy birthday to me. Russia hits Ukraine with some more missiles and some drones. Chicago stand up with police linked to a killing of their own. 4 arrested but no convictions been in stone. And Biden and McCarthy trying to work on the debt ceiling as a whole. The US seeking oath keepers founded for conspiracy. A Dallas shooting kills 1, 2 found with just some injuries. Texas trying to raise the age for semi-automatic. Zuckerberg fights in jiu-jitsu and he deaf has won some matches. And Ross Chastain winning punches Noah Gregson. Joe Budden message Gilly the kid and goes and checks him, which sparked the back and forth, and now tension has been ascended. The Oakland A's announcer indefinitely suspended. Diddy versus Jermaine Dupri release location and the date. Because of new law, airlines may just have to pay for inconveniences like cancellations and delays, covering food or hotel costs for changes to your stay. Hezbollah was at the wedding, but after celebrating, he found himself arrested for some traffic violation. Young boy, this is Dirk in a riveting post, and Soldier Boy comes in and starts dissing them both. Today Donald Trump was found guilty, but in the same swing, Tiger Woods' ex accuses him of the same thing. After the hearing, the judge is kind of a skeptic now. At 79, Robert De Niro just had a 7th child. Italy gets ready for a crisis in store. For some reason they expect pasta prices to soar. So as everybody starts preparing to stack the pasta, 12 killed in the recent Israeli attack on Gaza. After the mass shooting, the Serbians hope for better. Thousands will go and protest together. Canada expelled a Chinese diplomat for concerns, and China expelled Canada's diplomat in return. Biden sent troops to the border, but as all of them enforce it, the DHS announced there will be targeted enforcement. Republican lawman who wants to ban kids from drag shows quits when they expose the teen relationship he had, though. A kid has disappeared on Saturday, but with God's grace, he was found on Monday hiding under a log safe. A widow wrote a book on grief after her hubby left. Plot twist, she now gets arrested and charged for hubby's death. A woman been arrested in Texas for an obscene one for going to a gun range trying to steal a machine gun. TurboTax got a settlement to expect, and customers should be getting bread sent to them in a check. George Santos in court, charged for fraud and laundering. Tucker just got a show, and on Twitter, Israel he'll launch it in. Ex-Prime Minister of Pakistan is in court. The army faces all the cats who backs the man with support. Everyone that's feeling nervous, the country's in preparation. Gavin Newsom doesn't want to back money as reparations. The right want to see Biden's bills assuring tendencies, claiming they taking payments in mills from foreign entities, while Democrats push for details, talking where all the dollars go. The gifts to Clarence Thomas he got allotted from Harlan Crow. Lightfoot declared state of emergency in Pronto because of all the migrants that's emerging in Chicago. The sergeant who was promised a pardon was all a busted lie, cause for killing a protester Dunny done just got 25. MTV News shut down, another crash bad. Doja Cat's last 2 albums was just a cash grab. First of all, it means she's telling us she can come iller. Rihanna and ASAP naming their son RZA. A lot of fans aren't prepared for the hurt. It said that Jamie Foxx's family's prepared for the worst. Elon stepping down as the CEO of Twitter. Monkeypox is back, remember that when people grow them blisters? Blood donations wasn't allowed for buying gay dudes, but with the FDA's new assessment there's a way to. The people in the UK would seem to claim the key to birth the first child who claims the DNA of 3. And close to 30-something Palestinians died without a fair fight, with a few commanders by the airstrikes. At the border, migrants are seen to be in clusters. NYC sent asylum seekers to the suburbs. The Marine that choked dude gets manslaughter charge, while a boxer got his name stamped on the card. Kennedy Gano, who collapses in sight. At the age of 22, he died right after a fight. A man at his house seen shadows sneaking abroad and shoots a young girl playing hide and seek in his yard. The Grand Rapids public schools plan on banning backpacks, cause one was found and inside it had a strap pack. Florida police had a teacher they had to take in, cause in class she let a 7th grader hit a vape pen. Texas got the border station at the gates with urgency, cause some of the cities be under the state of emergency. At the CNN town hall, Trump left with a smile, but there were no smiles left from the left of the aisle. Penny turns himself in to make it easier probably. A body has been found in the freezer at Arby's. And Gaza launched 600 missiles within sunsets, and Israel is hit with 5 injuries and 1 death. Jamie Foxx's daughter broke the confidence to speak. She said that it had been out the hospital for weeks, and it's not like he's inactive and in need of grave support. The man is outside and active, and he's even playing sports. Dan Snyder's gonna sell his Washington team. An epinephrine nasal spray may be brought to the scene after more testing, and it all passes safety measures while the mom, dad, and daughter all graduate together. Depending on the debt ceiling and the way it's gonna sway, things like Medicare and military payments can delay. Housing advocates will say if more damage is inflicted to rental aid, you're gonna see poor families evicted. City of Baltimore is gonna try a far stretch to sue Hyundai and Kia for many car thefts. Not sure what kind of chance should they have. A teacher in Brazil fired for her dances in class on a TikTok with young girls and young boys both. Soldier Boy still were going straight for young boys' throat. And it seems that Megan Good and Jonathan Majors have been dating, while Ice Spice's mom got everybody salivating. 2 Russian choppers shot down as well as 2 planes. Germany's providing $3 billion aid for Ukraine. Zelensky went to Rome to go and meet with the Pope. The Vatican may play a part to broker peace for them both, trying to see what's required for peace as desired, while Israel and Palestine agree to cease fire. DeSantis got Iowa all to himself to lock votes because of a tornado. Watch Trump was stuck and did not go. A very young man confessed up to killing Pop Smoke. John Moran suspended for showing things you should not show. KSI fought Fournier and he death succeeded, but they say it's with an illegal blow, but the ref ain't see it. Daniel Penny's legal fee fundraiser past the mill. DeSantis backs him, trying to show the country has his back for real. A gathering in Arizona meant to be a chill group, but turned into a shooting, injuring 5 and killed 2. Election races heating up in Turkey and in Thailand. A Myanmar cyclone kills 3 in its time span. Pledged to Ukraine that their aid is coming through. The Wagner Group has offered to betray the Russian troops. A U.S. citizen in China's pinched and then he's tried. And his conviction's life cause they're convinced that he's a spy. The debt ceiling's still in the works, and as they talking limits, Biden's optimistic, but it's looking like McCarthy isn't. Brandon Johnson is the new mayor now at Chi-Town, while SB 266 has been signed now. Some are still against it, trying to stop it with the urgency, cause it prohibits spending on some topics like diversity. A teacher's taking heat cause a parent was livid for putting on a movie with a gay character in it. A man in Jerry Connolly's office takes on staff, injured 2 people, homie brought a baseball bat. Victims taken to the hospital for first aid. One was a senior, the other was an intern on her first day. In New Mexico, there were shots that occurred, 3 killed and 2 officers hurt. A relative was watching this autistic boy and then discovered that they lost him. Then his body was discovered in the southern part of Boston. As the nurse leaves work, a person burst in a whip. She was abducted and was murdered after working a shift. And Kwame's calling out John Morant, trying to serve shame, while The Weeknd made a change going by his birth name. Kyiv was getting hit by the missiles from Russia's skies. CIA posts videos trying to recruit some Russian spies. A former U.S. consulate guy was seen arrested in Russia for being a spy, and we've condemned it. A 20 and a 12-year-old child are being charged with murder. They had an altercation and they shot a Sonic worker. Rudy is accused of being a creep but trying to stunt, trying to get his aide to blow him while on speakerphone with Trump. They say within the government he's hustling deals, accused of selling Trump pardons for a couple of meals. Years ago, a girl in Illinois abducted with no clean trace. In North Carolina, she's discovered as a teen safe. It was the non-custodial mother that went and coached the plan. In the state where they holding up the abortion ban, they trying to get Santos bumped out of Congress. And Favre said that things were better back when Trump was in office. And Rachel Rollins to resign, cause if we take it to a flashback, she's at a DNC event, and that's against the Hatch Act. Prosecutors can take part in partisan politicking, just not events that affect the success of a politician, like a fundraiser, which was where Rachel Rollins was, which caused the investigation and how she got all this buzz. The paparazzi took it far just to get up to the star's face, getting Meghan Markle and Prince Harry in a car chase, putting people's life at risk. weaving just to get to them, almost hitting other cars and even some pedestrians. And Rap Bobert's husband may be feeling a bit of remorse later, sicking the dogs on someone who's delivering their divorce papers. To get their debt sealed and intact, Biden canceled his visit to the far Pacific he had, but it's claimed that credibility would take a hit just for that. Ukraine claimed they counted most of Russia's missile attacks. Reps in Illinois request the Supreme Court try to strike the plan, decided that they declined to block the semi-auto rifle ban. Expert claim they need to slow the steps of technology for AI, cause it could be a threat to democracy. He says the future dangers is what people need to see. Key attorneys seen up in Trump's legal team would leave Baltimore. A child's life was stolen this week, and his body was later found somewhere close to a creek. Northern Italy is hit by a drought until the sky was breaking. Heavy rain causes the flooding that claims the lives of 8. The IRS chief decided to stay honest, saying black taxpayers more likely to face audits. The New York Times publisher would implement the view that personal beliefs should never influence the news. Disney stops development on their billion-dollar chain while Ludacris get it started, filling they walk of fame. Trans women join sorority, people will feel alerted. Caitlyn Jenner says they're sexually deviant and perverted. Feinstein is getting frail, so in turn she's urged to step away, but her decision's firm and returns to Senate anyway. World's largest lakes lost crazy amounts of water due to climate change and excessive amounts of water use. According to some scientists who studied why it started, 2 missing in a fire at construction site in Charlotte after Title 42 migrants try an abundancy. It's sad a child with cardiac problems dies in their custody, and she was 8 and unlucky, losing her life. While John Morant got his Nike shoes removed from the site and the app for the pistol that he gripped in his hand. In Montana, TikTok is now officially banned, and Billy Graham, the Hall of Famer wrestler, passed. 2 semis killed 7 in crash. At a hearing, whistleblowers testified that the FBI was set to fight for the left side cause it was weaponized against the right. Dixie D'Amelio was stopped to call the hospital cause she almost fainted, but some water solved that obstacle. While the G7 summit happens, leaders set the frame to sit and figure out the different ways that they can help Rhode Island councilman caught passed out in his car with crack. Don't look at Robin Hood, it's looking like your stocks have crashed cause the right don't see an agreement as being feasible. Cause the Democrats they were meeting weren't being reasonable, so they walked out, but being wild could be a sound ploy. A cop gets obstruction for contact with a Proud Boy. Ukraine seeks help from the Arab League with the fight that's left, while the US has agreed to supply them fighter jets. A man tries pulling over to apply a tire check, runs off the mountain with his fam inside, but they survived the wreck. He claims it was an accident, as if he couldn't swerve the guard, but the court is saying different. Boom, attempted murder charge. Fire in Canada will get this grand growth to the point that the states was getting secondhand smoke. NIH uses AI to figure your life, to study diets and tailoring nutrition advice. Singapore isn't happy, but they had to proceed to hang the second person they would catch for trafficking weed within 3 weeks, trying to keep out the stash and rest in peace. Hall of Famer Jim Brown has passed. Russia gives a warning of enormous risk to the wider West if United States was to give Ukrainians fighter jets. Moscow got hundreds of Americans banned. Zelensky lands at the G7 there in Japan. A word about the debt ceiling shriveling or expanding, while the Carters dropped $200 million on a mansion. The governor is pissed at North Carolina, Nebraska to restrict abortion and gender affirming care for minors. Rig driver that killed 7 because he rammed into cars gets DUI and manslaughter charge due to statements and the impartiality it may institute. DeSantis wants a judge to be disqualified in Disney suit. Politico gets trashed from the camp on the right for writing up a hit piece that's on DeSantis' wife. The KSI and Fournier fight results has changed from a win to no contest. Looks like they'll go again. And ChatGPT released as an app on iPhone, and Android will get their own version out in time though. And JP Morgan and an ex-executive will get steam. Chase trying to sue him for getting in bed with Epstein financially. The girl that died of AIDS at the border, their mother's making claims that all the agents ignored her. Jeff Bezos gets engaged, Ray Stevenson died. Brady meets with the Raiders, now he owns a piece of the pie. The Colorado River seems like it's proceeding to dry, so 3 states have all agreed to try decreasing supply. And because the level's plundered, there's an arsenic rage. New York is going under cause of how much all of it weighs. Them big buildings and skyscrapers lumped into land. Hope it holds up like the Duck Liver Band. EDC just happened, the music that they got was rockin' loud across the crowd. Some arrested, lots are lost and found. It's looking like the White House is finally getting the right math. McCarthy says the debt ceiling's on the right path. Tim Scott running for president, so we made the race. Travel warnings claiming that Florida be a hateful place. 8 taking Texas to court for an abortion ban. Claim their lives are endangered and Texas taking their only plan. SpaceX launches up some members and you'll know that one's the first Arab woman ever to do so. The Wagner Group says the city capture is soon. They make an open claim saying they'll be captured by June. Beijing rebukes Japan because the cats would assume there's nothing but a bunch of anti-China chat in the room. DeSantis runs for president with Elon Musk in his run. The man spends millions cause he swaps blood with his son as a way to de-age or to rehab youth. While he takes his son's blood, he gives his blood to his dad too. A volcano in Mexico is death becoming active. Guam braces for a typhoon directly coming at it. Democratic activist has been preparing to say she thinks that Florida will turn into a terrorist state. Retirement's an option when LeBron lost with the Lakers. A man pissing got his arm lost to a gator. A man in the U-Hauls preparing to break into the White House and crash into the barrier gates. They didn't wipe out but taken to the ground to be cuffed. Apparently a Nazi flag was later found in his truck. Surgeon General saying that mental illness can have a presence when social media gets the children and adolescents. In Guyana, a girl would burn a dorm where most were congregated. 19 kids were killed cause she was mad her phone was confiscated. South Carolina Senate passes an abortion ban. Now to the governor to see if he supports the plan. Since the 1950s in the world of Illinois, the clergy been molesting little girls and little boys. 1,997 exactly. Breaking news. These motherfuckers is nasty. Queen of rock and roll, Tina Turner has passed. And Black Wolf is like Uber, except the person is strapped. Apparently a killer whale named Gladys can really think though, teaching his kinfolk. Another orcas had to sink boats. John Morant had cops come cause all of his folks and his fan base felt alarm from all of his posts. And Fetty Wap gets 6 years for drug charges it seems. Father and son would go to jail due to lottery schemes worth 20 million. But the feds revealed the deal was foolery. While it made his cot trying to steal $1 million jewelry from a rich guest when she would go into the room. Amanda Gorman's inauguration poem's been removed. The Kentucky man came home and Snapdog lost it. Shot his roommate cause dude ate his last Hot Pocket. The inmate who died in his cell with insects all inside. It's recently been determined to be a homicide. Due to alleged threats, the team feels fear. So Target takes down the LGBT themed gear. A paralyzed man walks again because of the devices stored inside him, connecting to his brain and spinal cord. There's some light being shed on what Ghostface done. He's branded as a deadbeat by his own gay son. It said the EPA's power has been limited now. The Supreme Court has decided they'll be bringing it down. They said they need the type of power that can steer within emissions, but with the power courts will need a clearer definition. A man gets 35 in result of his pride for killing his girl after she insulted his size. Another man in Texas kills his whole family in an evening. He claiming they were cannibals and they were planning to eat him. You see them. John Morant new shoes were released, sold out regardless of what dude do with his piece. The abortion ban in South Carolina been signed. The Oath Keeper's own leader is inclined to do time. The kid made a domestic call cause his mom's in a mess, but when the cops pulled up, the kid was shot in the chest. Thankfully survived, but sad this happened to a kid. Punctured lung, lacerated liver, fractures in his ribs. Zelensky was at Johns Hopkins, dude was on a widescreen doing a surprise speech for students in a live stream. Harvard studies say dogs be about their leaders, cause when the dog sleeps, a dog dreams about the keepers. As the debt ceiling meetings aren't coming with worthy news clips, rumor has it that we running out of cash on June 5th. Another Oath Keeper down to prison for 8. A doctor does abortion on a child victim of rape, then told the press all about it at the time that they called. She was reprimanded and fined for breaking privacy laws. People traveling to Missouri for a site they would say would be a nun's corpse that doesn't show a sign of decay. She'd been buried for 4 years, so they open a tour, and while the plane begins descending, someone opens the door. They landed safely and cuffed the man that did it, proceeding to ask the man why he did it. He don't give him a reason. Maybe wanted to off himself but froze at the downward motion. In South Dakota, 3 were lost in a house explosion. The grandparents and the baby would die, while 2 other kids were burned but barely made it alive. LeBron playing postseason with a tendon that's torn and may require surgery if it's affecting his form. In New York, Mayor Adams extended some litigation. Height and weight is now protected from any discrimination. discrimination. Gender identity is limited in Iowa schools, and sexually explicit books is banned and out of here too. The target and the pride threats was apparently all a hoax. An ally that got so angry apparently wanted smoke. A student would push a case that she apparently has against the district for her Mexican-American sash. It was restricted from her graduation, so she said her rights were broken. A judge looked at the case and she denied the motion. And Ken Paxton of Texas might be impeached too, for reasons that he won't concede to. A man went overboard on a day to try to stir some laughter, but ain't returned to the surface after. So the Bahamas and the Coast Guard searches, they doubled up and expanded, but had to suspend the search after coming up empty-handed. A funeral director was arrested cause his place stored 40 rotten bodies he ain't serviced but was paid for. Was this a case of being overworked or bad fraud? Cause as far as the pandemic, he's been backlogged. Counter-offensive measures taken for short as Ukraine enters through a new phase of the war. The Taliban and Iran would clap hammers and mortars over the water rights at the Afghanistan border. The Taliban took a greater hit. As we say, happy birthday, 3 stacks left eye and the Bud Light prices hit a low, but regardless of what the prices say, Bud Light will still sponsor Cincinnati Pride Parade. But Malaysian folks don't wanna give it the time of day, raiding Swatch, confiscating anything with pride away. India official dreams a damn to have his phone in hand. One of the yellow Power Rangers started OnlyFans. Meteorologists got serious shame, smearing their name by conspiracy theorists in Spain. LSU ball player collapses at the White House. They're fined and revived right after the miner lights out. Cambodian man fell in his crocodile enclosure when he was pounced on by 40 crocodiles. It's over. State Farm stopped homeowners insurance applications in Cali. Wildfire risk will surely have them breaking its savvy. Cause as a business is making sense here. The man who opened up the plane door is facing 10 years, saying he felt suffocated, so he had to open that. Ukraine's capital is hit with Russia's largest drone attack. Venice authorities are bound to get a team to help inspect why the Grand Canal is now fluorescent green. A biker rally ends with a shootout as people fled. 5 people injured and maybe about 3 were dead. Russia's figuring a way to try switching up the play, cause now the missile's been engaged in the middle of the day. Also sending an arrest warrant out for Lindsey Graham. He made a couple comments that got him a little angry. The president of Belarus opens options up wide, promising nukes to anyone who hop on their side. After weeks of a mess, leaving multiple set meetings, they finally agreed to a deal with the debt ceiling. Iowa apartment building partially collapsed. Rescue ain't find any bodies or anybody who was trapped. Someone hit the Cumberbatch home invading with a knife. Uganda has laws that says that being gay will get you life. Now they adding death if it involves someone like a kid. Biden says that their relationship can suffer by the bid. Japan warns North Korea, watch the missiles they deploy. If it's in the territory, you'll be instantly destroyed. At a lake in Italy, a tourist boat when it capsized during a big storm where foe at the max died. Earth has a new moon that it's aligning with, and it'll be here till 3700, says some scientists. In Kosovo, NATO came to stop the demonstration. Update, 8 was safe in that one building that caved in. 9 shot in Florida, but everyone was standing alive. Gavin Newsom blames the new carry bill that DeSantis signed. Conservative trying to oust McCarthy through his own statement. Debt ceiling deal is reinstating student loan payments. If Trump wins again, he's set on the border, ending the anchor baby process with executive order. A bus driver and a passenger will leap into a gunfight. Luckily for both, it didn't lead to losing one life. One dies in Alaska in the sinking of a fishing boat. There's still 4 individuals considered to be missing though. Japan warned them of the things they have the right to do. North Korea still gonna launch the satellite in June, while the parents and their 2-year-old child would have to go to life in prison cause they found a Bible in their home. So the Grand Canal water in Venice has turned to coral green, thinking it's a clumsy spill of something known as fluorescein. Speaking of green though, happy birthday CeeLo. Visas for Ugandans might see restrictions free flow when it comes to the US to stand in haze off. The official names that made their anti-gay laws. The Guyanese girl who turned arson to burner. Whole dorm down gets 19 charges for murder. A Texas high school postpones the graduation due to the fact only 5 seniors were able to. Danny Lay was driven to finish the glass she's sipping from. Arrested for a DUI and as well as a hit and run. People giving slack to these event planners for the white models on their Juneteenth event banners. If you haven't seen an IG, here's some sweet inside tea. Megas with Romelu and Saweetie seen with YG. After they closed the deal, it's at the House and voting still. Republicans would do the most to kill or straight oppose the bill. Update, it's passed. It's looking like they settled it. Chris Stewart leaves the House and Chris Christie will try for president. And store owner shot a kid thinking he saw him shoplift, while 3 different babies died being left in a hot whip. North Korea's satellite then crashed in the sea, but that's the kind of thing they're gonna wanna have you believe. And a woman who's allegedly assaulted by Biden has fled to Moscow as the best result to asylum. She was told she was in physical danger, so that's the mind frame. China jet gets reckless, almost intercepts our spy plane. The officer in Parkland that refused to face the blood explains why he couldn't take it while he faced a judge. The Vibes cartel, it came to be really hard in prison, with his cards dealt with Graves' disease and a heart condition. Pac Walk of Fame stars being made. Meanwhile, Danny Masterson found guilty in rape retrial as the right boycotts places displaying love for pride. A beluga whale in Sweden's labeled a Russian spy. More news to come in this new design. Like and comment and follow for more news that rhyme.